Let me tell you a story about a land so strange, so silent, and so hidden, that many people believe it still keeps secrets bigger than any other place on Earth. A land at the bottom of the world, frozen and locked away by ice miles thick, but with whispers of a forgotten past that scientists, explorers, and even governments seem unwilling, or perhaps unable, to fully reveal. I am speaking of Antarctica. Stay with me because what I'm about to share will take you on a journey through time, through mystery, through power struggles and hidden knowledge, a journey that may change the way you see the world. And before we go too far, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because together we explore the stories that others often avoid or leave half told. Now, let's begin. Antarctica as we see it today is a place of endless white. Vast ice sheets stretch as far as the eye can see, and temperatures fall to levels that could freeze steel in minutes. It feels like the very edge of life itself. Yet, it was not always like this. Millions of years ago, Antarctica was not the frozen desert we imagine. Fossils of green forests, rivers, and even dinosaurs have been found beneath the ice. Yes, once this icy land was warm, alive, and full of creatures. Trees once swayed where glaciers now stand. Rivers once flowed where only frozen silence exists. This fact alone sparks a question. How could such a transformation happen? And what else lies hidden beneath that massive blanket of ice? Scientists tell us that the shifting of Earth's continents through plate tectonics carried Antarctica from a warmer region closer to the equator down to its current polar position. Over millions of years, as climates changed, ice began to build. Eventually, the land became what we know today, the coldest, most isolated continent on Earth. But still, the evidence of its past refuses to stay buried. Every time researchers drill ice cores or study the rocks that lie beneath, they uncover more proof that Antarctica was once very different. Some ice cores go back hundreds of thousands of years, capturing not only ancient air bubbles but also clues about climate, about the atmosphere, even about times when Earth itself nearly froze over. And here's where things start to get even stranger. Because beneath the ice, hidden lakes remain liquid, untouched for millions of years, sealed away from sunlight and wind. Lake Vostok, one of the largest subglacial lakes, has been isolated for so long that any life within it would be like life from another planet. When scientists drilled down and sampled it, they found evidence of strange microbes, some unknown to science. Think about that. Life that has survived under a blanket of ice, trapped for ages, and possibly evolving in ways unlike anywhere else on Earth. Could Antarctica hold answers not just about Earth's past, but also about how life might survive in the most extreme places, even beyond our world? Now, while science gives us pieces of the puzzle, history adds another layer of intrigue. Antarctica has not always been ignored. Since the days of early explorers, this frozen continent has sparked human imagination and ambition. In the 19th century, explorers risked their lives in wooden ships, braving storms, icebergs, and freezing seas, just to set eyes on this mysterious land. Some returned with tales of strange landscapes, mountains higher than the Alps, and endless plains of ice. Others never returned at all. But as the world grew more connected, so did interest in Antarctica. By the time of the early 20th century, a race began, a race to claim, to explore, to plant flags on untouched soil. The so-called heroic age of Antarctic exploration brought famous names like Ernest Shackleton and Robert Falcon Scott, whose struggles and triumphs became legendary. Yet beyond the heroism was also a darker side. Nations saw Antarctica not just as a scientific curiosity, but as a land of potential power. During the Second World War and even more during the Cold War, Antarctica became a quiet battlefield of interest. The Nazis, for example, carried out expeditions to Antarctica in the late 1930s. Some say they built secret bases there, others believe they sought ancient technologies or hidden resources. Most historians treat these claims with caution, but the fact remains, Antarctica attracted their attention. Later, during the Cold War, both the United States and the Soviet Union increased their presence on the continent. For them, it was not only about science but also about strategy. Imagine having a base at the bottom of the world, a place that could potentially control access to the southern oceans. But then came the Antarctic Treaty of 1959, a unique agreement in world history. Dozens of countries signed it, agreeing that Antarctica would be used only for peaceful purposes and scientific research. No single country could claim it outright, no military activity was allowed, and nuclear testing was banned. On paper, it sounds noble, almost like humanity agreeing to protect one untouched corner of the Earth. Yet some ask, Was the treaty also a way to keep the deeper truths of Antarctica hidden? Was it about peace, or about secrecy? Because when we look at Antarctica, we see not just the ice and the snow, but also the shadows of mystery. One of the most famous is the Piri Reis map, drawn in the early 16th century by an Ottoman admiral. This map appears to show parts of Antarctica without ice, centuries before modern science confirmed its hidden coastline. How could this be? How could a map created long before satellites or ice-penetrating radar show details that should have been impossible to know? Some say the map is misunderstood, others suggest it was based on much older sources, perhaps from a civilization long forgotten. And then there is the legend of Atlantis. Some theorists have linked Antarctica to this mythical lost land, suggesting that when the Earth shifted and ice consumed the continent, Atlantis disappeared beneath it. Is this pure fantasy, or could the frozen south hold ruins we have not yet found? After all, most of Antarctica remains unexplored. Satellite images reveal strange shapes beneath the ice, geological formations, or perhaps something else. Massive structures, pyramidal in shape, have been spotted in photographs, fueling endless speculation. Another layer to the mystery is the hollow Earth theory. A controversial and often dismissed idea, yet one that continues to capture imaginations. Some believe Antarctica holds entrances to hidden realms inside the planet. Old stories of explorers like Admiral Richard Byrd, who supposedly flew over vast lands beyond the ice and described seeing green valleys and strange animals, continue to stir curiosity. Were these accounts real, exaggerated, or completely misunderstood? Official records remain vague, and skeptics say the claims are nothing more than myths. But still, the story refuses to die. And here's where things get interesting. Because beyond myths and theories, there are modern restrictions that make people wonder. There are entire regions of Antarctica where travel is heavily controlled. Ordinary people cannot simply go wherever they wish. Expeditions require permits, strict oversight, and many areas are completely off-limits. The official reason is safety, environmental protection, and the difficulty of the terrain. But some ask, is there more to it? Are governments guarding secrets beneath the ice? Could there be ancient ruins, unknown resources, or discoveries so powerful they must remain hidden? Think about it. Antarctica contains most of the world's fresh water locked in its ice. If melted, it would raise global sea levels by more than 60 meters, enough to swallow many cities whole. Beneath the ice, vast resources of minerals, coal, oil, and even precious metals may exist. In a world of growing competition, could these hidden treasures explain why the Antarctic Treaty remains so important, and so carefully maintained? And while the official narrative speaks of peaceful research, we cannot ignore the whispers of censorship. Stories surface now and then of scientists being silenced, of information disappearing, of satellites that capture too much detail only to have images blurred or classified. Is this all just coincidence, or part of a larger effort to control what the public knows about Antarctica? As we move through all these layers, geology, history, politics, and mystery, we return to the same question: what really lies beneath the ice? We know it was once warm, we know it has secrets locked away in lakes and rocks, we know nations fought to reach it, and we know myths connect it to some of humanity's oldest legends. The truth may be far stranger than we imagine. So as we end our journey today, remember that Antarctica is not just a frozen desert. It is a mirror of our past, a key to our present, and perhaps even a door to our future. The more we learn, the more questions arise. And maybe, just maybe, that's the point. The greatest mysteries are not solved in one lifetime, but carried forward for generations. Thank you for walking with me through the icy corridors of this forgotten land. If you found this story thought-provoking, if it stirred questions in your mind, make sure you subscribe right now, because there are many more journeys to take together. Each one will take us deeper into the hidden corners of history and mystery. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep your mind questioning, and never forget, the world still holds secrets waiting to be uncovered.